Well, it's time now to take a look through today's papers, and I'm joined in studio by Alison Sargent. Alison, front page of Libération, the French left-leaning newspaper, quite a striking one. Liberty, equality and hospitality. I imagine this is talking about the new immigration law being debated here in France.
It sure is, Eve. It's a very divisive law and a heated debate that began yesterday in French Parliament. The right sees it as being too lenient, whereas the left and many aid groups see it as just being basically inhumane. As you said, Eve, the left-wing paper Libération is taking kind of a more optimistic, hopeful look at this. They're focusing on people actually who are welcoming migrants into their homes and offering anything from a meal to a place to sleep. So and they say they're organizing via Facebook, people really from all walks of life, so no political side to this, really just kind of anyone from all political party inviting migrants into their homes. As you said, their front page there is a wordplay on France's national motto, Liberté, Égalité, Fraternité. There they replace fraternité with hospitalité, so hospitality. And in an editorial, the paper says, you know, these are really the corners of France, people like this that are welcoming migrants into their homes. That's the part of France that they wish that anti-immigration politicians like Marine Le Pen and even like France's interior minister, Gérard Collomb, well, that's the part of France that they really wish that they would see and take a look at. And they say even if people like this are not the majority, well, there's no reason we shouldn't pay attention to this, quote, breath of humanity.
And it does do you good, I have to say, to see those quite special people going out and doing what many feel like doing, but actually going out and acting on their impulses. But meanwhile, the president's majority even remains quite divided over the current bill.
That's right. French paper Les Echos talks about unease in the presidential majority. And, you know, even though they're expected to pass the law, many politicians from his own party are giving it quite a lot of resistance. There have been about 1,000 amendments proposed, and several hundred of them are from the president's own party. In particular, actually, many people are hoping to do away with or change what is called in France the délit de solidarité, the crime of solidarity, which currently makes it possible to prosecute people who help migrants come or remain illegally in France, potentially like the people that we saw in Libération today. So there's hope, really, that with this new law, even if it's, you know, there's some negative sides to it, that is something that could
good
change.
Will come out of it.
Yeah.
Of course, it's immigration not only in the French papers. You've spotted it there and highlighted it for me. It's also on the front page of the Times across in the UK, and it has one of its front page stories saying Amber Rudd sorry for the appalling treatment of migrants there.
That's right. It's a littler story on the Times, but it's actually the big front page story in both The Guardian and The Independent, two more left-leaning papers today. Now, the Windrush generation. Windrush comes from the name of a ship that brought one of the first groups of people from Jamaica and other islands to the UK to work. So we're talking about people who came to the UK from other Commonwealth countries. You can see a photo of some of those people getting off that ship. It was called the Empire Windrush. This was in 1948. Now, in 1971, they were all given the right to stay permanently in the UK, but the government never actually gave them any official documents stating as much, which made things very complicated when a couple of years ago the UK toughened its immigration laws and made it so that you need papers to do things like have a job and own property. So there have been numerous reports in recent weeks of people who've been in the UK for decades, really some of them their entire lives, losing their jobs and even facing deportation because of this. The Guardian here on its front page, you can see more kind of recent photos of some of the people impacted, people from the Windrush generation. The Guardian was one of the first papers that ran a lot of these stories about them. Now, the UK Home Office wasn't clear on whether or not people actually did end up getting deported over this, but they were a little vague about it. They say, regardless, you know, they made terrible mistakes, and they've promised to set up a special group in the office to help people get their papers in order now. This scandal has really deepened criticism that Theresa May has been creating what people call a hostile environment for migrants in the UK. And in this cartoon from the Times, you can see the scandal there delivering quite a rush of wind to the Prime Minister's face and forcing her to sort of rethink her policy of telling people to go home.
Yeah, with go there, hitting her quite solidly on the forehead. But meanwhile, let's move back to France. And Emmanuel Macron here in the French government is considering taking away Bashar al-Assad's Syrian president's Legion of Honor, which is one of the highest honors you can get here.
That's right. I was actually surprised to learn that he had one, but he does. I know, right? That he still has it. He had it at all. It was given to him in 2001, kind of soon after he became the Syrian president. It was awarded by Jacques Chirac. Now, the Élysée announced yesterday that they've begun the process of taking it away. It's the second time Macron has taken away a Legion of Honor. He took it away already from Harvey Weinstein following that scandal. And yeah, I mean, as I said, you could be surprised that he didn't take it away from Assad sooner.
Indeed, a symbolic one, but an important one, you'd imagine, nonetheless. Meanwhile, Alison, there's an unusual discovery on the island of Brittany. That's just north of France.
That's right. This was discovered on the island of Jimenez in Brittany. People found a mysterious metal saucer. You can see a photo of it in a local paper, Le Télégramme. They realized, looking at this saucer, that it actually had a SpaceX logo on it. That's the space exploration company owned by Elon Musk. They did some research online and found that it actually came from the nose of a SpaceX Dragon spacecraft that shuttles supplies to the International Space Station. So quite a cool discovery, I have to say. I've never found anything quite like that on a beach.
It is kind of impressive. At the same time, you kind of think more space junk falling down, and I thought the whole SpaceX was use and reuse.
It,
Very good point, Alison. Thanks a lot for scouring the papers for us.